What's up, everybody? This is Ashlyn Cole from your favorite morning show, Shop Talk, and you are listening to Freedom Radio.
Come on and get your freedom on. Come on and get your freedom on. This is the day that the Lord has made. It's a good day to get your freedom on.
What's up, world? It's H. Doobie Powell, and you're listening to freedomradio.com.
He is Lord. He is Lord. He is risen from the dead, and He is Lord. Oh, every knee shall bow. Every tongue confess that Jesus Christ is Lord. He is Lord. He is Lord. He is Lord. He has risen from the dead, and He is Lord. Every knee shall bow, every tongue confess that Jesus Christ is Lord. Oh, 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 Jesus Christ is Lord. Jesus Christ is Can't make me doubt Him. Had to realize that I'm nothing without Him. Yeah, didn't have to do it, but I'm glad He did. Yeah. You made the lame, I made the blind. Yeah. On the cross, you let Him die for me. No, I never felt a greater love. I thank God for sending You from above. You have all power in Your hand. You destroyed the devil's plan, and You didn't have to do it, but I'm glad You did. So glad You did. Say what you want. You can do what you will. But as long as I live, I'm living for You. I'm living for You. Everything that I do it for You. Yeah. Don't mistake my groove. This groove is for You. Owe it all to You. Some people may not believe. I believe in You. I believe in You. I believe in You.
What is going on, y'all? It is your man D Toad. It is another day's journey, and I am super duper glad about it. Want to welcome everybody to a special Monday edition of Shop Talk. We're going to call this a post Oscars edition of Shop Talk, where y'all already know literally no person, and as you'll find out tonight, no subject is off limits. Before we do anything, before I give shout outs, anything, y'all do me a favor, get on the phone, call, text, tweet, Facebook, MySpace, Instagram, Social Cam, Periscope, Marco Polo. But tell your mama them, Ray Ray, Shay Shay, Day Day, Delicious them, Nut Nut them. Let them all know that we are live with a post, Lord have mercy, post Oscars edition of Shop Talk on a special day. And I am super duper excited about it. We'll get a chance to bring on our co-host in just a moment. But before we do anything, you already know what it is. You got to know that you're tuned in to Shop Talk. And man, oh man, do we have some things to talk about. Listen, if you haven't done so as of yet, you already know how it goes. This is Shop Talk. If you're tuning in for the first time and trying to figure it out, don't worry. I got you. Shop Talk is that good barber shop, that beauty shop, that coffee shop, that nail shop, that Ikana, that donut shop talk, y'all. With for real, tonight we'll prove it that no subject, no person is off limits. My name is Demetrius Tollfree. It says so right there. As well as you know, you can follow me always on social media everywhere at D Tollfree. That's DTOLEFREE. Whether that is on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, whatever you want to do, whatever it is that you have, you want to follow me, I am there at D Tollfree. One of my friends many years ago told me that I should make all my handles the same. It's good. I even do it on Venmo and Cash App. If you just want to test, if you can send me some money, go right ahead. Let me know. I won't tell nobody. It'll be just between me and you, and it's to be all to the GOOD. All right, y'all, let's get ready to give some early evening shout outs to some people who are hanging out with us. First of all, let me welcome everyone that is watching, whether you're watching us on Facebook, which many of you do, whether you're watching us on YouTube, which people are starting to do more often, or even if you're listening or watching us on LinkedIn, we want to welcome you, as well as, of course, those who are listening to us audibly on freedomradio.com or in the Freedom Radio app. Whomsoever you might be, however you are listening, we want to say thank you for hanging out. Let's give some shout outs to the homies. Karan Edmonds, my neighbor from down the street around the corner, and look to the left, you'll see my homie Karan Edmonds. Glad to have her hanging out. Out in the ATL, Cheryl Galloway is hanging out with us. What is going on? Shout out to Tracy J. Wilson. What kind of show would we have without Tracy J. Wilson? Followed by the incredible, the always making us laugh, Dee Dee Felder in the virtual building. Shout out and a what up, though, to my homie Kirsten Williams, also in the virtual building. My neighbor, as well as a homie, as always, a protector of me and my family, Ty McClain. Ty McClain in the virtual building. What up, though, to the homie Renee Kennedy. What's going on? Out in, I believe, Fresno is my guy, Bobby Griffin, hanging out with us as well. We've got Stacy Williams Tucker hanging out with us. It's all good. Shout out to Ashley Murray. Hey, glad to have you hanging out with us as well. And Jason Archie, also, I know for sure, out in Fresno. This is my guy. What is going on, Jason? Man, we got to talk in the very near future. All right, y'all. Let's get ready to bring up our co-hosts. I'll keep giving shout outs as they come, but let's reach out to my homie freshly back from Fresno in that incredible area down there, doing things, making things happen. I see you, Kareen Manice Burnett. I'm sorry. Wait a minute. Missionary Kareen. She's one of them people who like to have her title mentioned. She almost cussed me out in church terms one time for not saying that she was a missionary. So Missionary Kareen, glad to have you hanging out with us. My homie, fresh back from Fresno, cutting up, tearing up the whole city. They finally let her go and finally let her get back after leaving a trail of incredible anointing behind her. My homie and yours, Ashlyn Tara Cole. Ashlyn, girl, what is...
What's going on, brother? I don't know. I got Wi-Fi. I don't know if you can actually see me or if it's digitized, if we're in 1080 or if we're in
You
740.
amazing. Whatever you did, it works. Now you've blurred the background, which is dope. You'll have to show me how you did that. But yeah, you look great.
I don't know. Shout out to Fresno. Can I just give a shout out to the city of Fresno? Oh my goodness. It's a Fres yes for me. It is a Fres yes for me. The Lord is doing his good work down there. Let me tell you, with not only with working with Christian David on this incredible play, Love and Deception. I mean, the Lord had his hand over that. But not only that, and then I went to Christian's church, met the 81-year-old pastor who is a little firecracker, has more energy than some of these 22-year-olds running around these parks. So absolutely was amazing. Absolutely shout out to Jason for tuning in, who just was it was just a pleasure. It was just a pleasure. It's wonderful. So yes, it's not Fresno anymore. It is a Fres yes for me. Yes.
It is all to the good. And yeah, we've got some people hanging out in Fresno. Jason Archie is my bro. We go way back like 4 flats on a Cadillac, and it's all good. We have Renee Kennedy saying, what's up to you? My homie, guitarist extraordinaire, Bobby Griffin, also in the building from Fresno. And I am glad to have all of them hanging out with us. Listen, I got a chance to see a little bit of a clip of you cutting up, doing what only you can do. And I'm super excited and glad to know that you are still doing your thing. It's all good. Shout out to the homie, Candace Cowan, out in Sacramento, also in the virtual building. All right, y'all, let's get ready to bring up our next co-host out in the ATL where, things is always going down. Let's bring up my guy, the Hallelujah Evening man himself, Emetrius Hunter. Emetrius, man, what is, maybe he's stuck. Okay, let's see. Emetrius, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Absolutely don't see you, but it's all to the good.
He looks like that other camera angle at the Oscars that we didn't get to see. That's that other.
The one that was like 2 minutes, a whole 2 minutes.
That square right there looks like what was slapped off of Chris Rock. That's what was slapped off of Chris Rock yesterday. My God.
No.
All right, so we don't see you. So I tell you what, why don't you go out, come back in. As soon as I see you, of course, I will bring you up on stage and we'll jump into tonight's conversation. Awesome. All right, y'all, let's get ready to bring up our next co-host out in she's not in Greensboro. That's Davaris. Out in Charlotte of North Carolina. My homie Annie Yours really needs no introduction. She is the most exciting co-host that we have. And she always comes on and makes us laugh immediately. Yeah. Let's bring her up, my homie and yours, the always busy, but she's hanging out with us for a few. Yolanda Wild Praise Morant. Yolanda, what is going on? Welcome to tonight's show. We are glad to have you hanging out with us.
What's the going on?
Well, you know, we get ready to have this shop talk only conversation. So, get your mic together, make things happen. While you're doing that, let's bring back Emetrius. Emetrius, are you just stuck or are you? Oh, there you go. Ikana. All right, man. We're glad to have you hanging out with us. This is going to be an amazing show. Normally, I would do a bunch of other things first and then lead into the conversation. Not tonight. Let me give a quick shout out to Patrice Edwards Johnson, who is hanging out with us tonight. And another person, let me see if I get this right. T-Stack speaks for itself. Hopefully you'll tell us what the real name is, but I ain't mad at T-Stack.
T-Stacks.
It's all to the good. I'm not mad at it. And Didi Felder is saying what up to the homie. And of course, talking about you, Yolanda, as well as she want to do a mic check. 1 2 1 2. It is all to the good. All right, y'all. With no further ado, y'all know why we're here. We're here to have this post-Oscars conversation.
Oh, my.
About what everybody knows that we're getting ready to talk about. Shout out to the homie Shannon Fitzgerald watching us on YouTube, and Ja'Cory Proto, who I thought would have been like right here or there or somewhere.
Right,
anyway,
right here, right there.
Ja'Cory Proto hanging out with us as well as so many others. Listen, last night was the Oscars. I'm not sure what edition of it was, but it was the Oscars. Supposed to be one of the most exciting nights in television, and boy, I guess
And it was.
It was exciting.
it was exciting. So
Very
most of us
exciting.
know the backstory of it all, but let me give you the detailed version of what I saw. So we were watching the Oscars, and Chris Rock, who was hosting. Shout out to Chris Rock, incredible actor and comedian. I believe he was the host. Yes, he was the host, and he was doing what most comedians do. They do a little comedic presentation as the Oscars is going on, and they talk about this, that, and the other. Usually, it's mapped out. Sometimes, as comedians do, they go off of the map and create jokes on their own to make things happen. A joke was made about Jada Pinkett Smith, and Will Smith, her husband, did not appreciate it. It was a joke in relations to G.I. Jane. Many of us have probably seen that particular movie many years ago with a young lady who her hair was completely shaved and shaved bald, and they called her G.I. Jane. Little did we know, I didn't know this until this whole incident happened, but Jada is fighting or battling with alopecia. I had no idea of this. And Chris Rock makes a joke about thinking and wanting to see Jada play the next G.I. Jane. Will Smith, her husband of many years now, did not like. He laughed at the joke initially. Apparently, Jada took offense to it. Will jumps up, being her husband, and literally walks right on to the Oscar stage. And with an open hand, he slaps the bejesus out of Chris Rock, and then proceeds to walk back to his seat. Chris Rock, being the professional that he is, did not break character of being the host, and then made reference to what happened. And Will proceeds to use language that I can't repeat, but basically says, "Keep my wife's name out of your mouth." And he says it twice, and oh boy, things really, really happen. I'm shocked and floored by the incident, but here we are the day after, 24 hours later, and it's still buzzing on Twitter.
Yes.
It's still a trending topic on Twitter. Normally, trending topics only last for an hour or so, but oh my God, Ashlyn, it has turned into a trending topic, and people are still talking about it. Let's dive in tonight with both feet. Ashlyn, I'm gonna give it to you first. What in the heck happened?
Well, first of all, let me just say that it was buzzing so much that we have our text thread for Shop Talk, and I was like, we need to get on the air like tonight. We can't wait. This thing has to be discussed before Wednesday. We cannot wait till Wednesday, and then catch up with everybody else. So that's why we're here tonight, because I thought it was really important, or we thought it was important to have this conversation. Now, my initial reaction, I'm just gonna come clean, y'all. I was like, Will Smith is my hero. I'm just gonna come clean. I'm gonna keep it 100. That's my dude. That is exactly how I would want my husband to respond if somebody was offensive to me. I would want to be able to sit and know that my husband has my back at such a level. Now, do I condone violence? Absolutely not. Was it an extreme reaction as opposed to an intellectual response? Absolutely. But Will Smith is my dude. That is the homie, for real, for real. And we haven't even talked about what our individual opinions about this are. I don't even know if we're in agreement or if I'm all out by myself. But I was like, yes, sir. Keep my wife's name out your mouth. If you want to talk about them, her, him, they, those, you do that. But I bet you there will never be another joke on Jada Smith or that entire family, because they laid the law down. Like, joking aside, I mean, there's so many incidents in history. Look at Princess Diana, right? Like the fact that people think that they can just dig on celebrities, like they can just say whatever they want, and people are just going to sit there and take it. Well, yesterday, that idea was shattered. That idea was shattered. That's my dude.
Okay, I'm with you. I'm not mad at the comments, and we may not all agree. We'll find out as we go along in tonight's show. But I want to go to Yolanda next. But before I do, let me bring up our fifth co-host, out again in the car. I thought I'd catch him in a different place tonight, but he's still in the car doing what he does. Hopefully he's safe. Let's bring up my guy, Ja'Cory Proto. Ja'Cory, man, what is going on? Happy Monday to you, man. What's going on? I don't hear you. Normally I hear you, and you're not muted. What'd you do? He's like, what? Yeah, we don't hear you, bro. He's like, oh, okay.
He said, oh, come on.
Yeah, okay. So
Yeah.
So I tell you what, I'm gonna take you out. You can figure it out. Come back. When you come back, I would bring you right on in. Yolanda, Wild Praise and Rant, I want to go to you next. Let me tell you the reason why I want to go to you next. I want to go to you next because you have made it exclusively and extremely clear that you like a roughneck. You like a dude that got tattoos and rocks Timberlands and but yet love Jesus. And you know, I'm not mad at what you're thinking at all. So I want to get your opinion. Let me see. Ja'Cory, say something. I still can't hear you. I don't know what's going on with you, man. Yeah. Yeah, I know. It's the devil. It's the devil.
All the way out of the app. All the way out of the app. All the way out of Facebook, and then come back.
We're going to bring you all the way out. So, Yolanda, I want to get your opinion, and I'm sorry. I have to CNN you on this one. But,
no, you ain't got to say that. I want everybody to see my reaction at the same time, baby.
You know what? The floor is yours. I mean, tell me what you could give me, your introductory thought about it, and we can, continue to dive in. Whatever way you want to go, the floor is yours, my sister.
First, let me tell you, that was the greatest laugh I have ever had in probably 3 months. I was laughing so hard, my throat was itching this morning. Okay. From the conversations, great God from Zion. I mean, you laugh so hard like your stomach hurts. Whew. I wasn't laughing because of the violence. Don't like. So first, one to say hi. How's everybody doing?
Hey,
my first lady hat is not on. Okay. I grew up in, like around gang members kind of had it on. So here's my thing. Yes, I like men with tattoos, and praise the Lord. Hallelujah. All right. So here's my thing. Number one, I wasn't laughing at that. We don't condone violence. Okay. We don't condone that. I mean, that's just, come on. That's common sense. All right. So here's my thing. For a very long time, people have, I don't know if I go to this part or you can just tell you my first thought. Which part you can tell you first?
You tell me.
My first thought was, that's what you get for talking smack. You should keep your comments to yourself.
Okay.
That was my first thought.
Okay.
I know nobody would ever think, oh, sweetly Yolanda would say that. Let me tell you something. I didn't grow up in the hood. There's nothing wrong with the hood. So please don't come for me. There's nothing wrong with the hood. But I did grow up all my life across the street from gang members, around the corner from gang members. And they always looked out for me. I never felt scared in my own neighborhood, probably ever. People knew me from back home. I was known for walking after I get out of school, whether it was high school, college. I was known for walking, getting off the bus. Yes, I did. And I would walk and sing down the block. I was never scared. That is the honest God truth. Jesus was always with me. But there was also gang members. They looked out. Real talk. So they'd be like, yo, you good? I was good. So I just grew up in a space where, and that's kind of where I come from in my house. My mom is very sassy. Amen. Very sassy, classy, but more classy. All right, here's my point. You don't put your mouth where it doesn't belong. So I just want to say that part first. I thought it was fake. So I was talking to homeboy. I was like, what just happened? And all was mute, right? And then it's like, Will Smith, don't put your... Wait, he playing? Oh, what just happened? So, yeah, keep your comments to yourself, bro.
So,
That's all I'm saying.
I'm kind of like you. When I initially saw it, I wasn't watching the Oscars. I have to admit, I wasn't watching it. I was watching something else, and something came across my screen, TMZ, something that situation occurred. And the first thing I did was went to Twitter. I don't be on Twitter all the time, but when things happen, you go to Twitter, you can find out what's going on. I mean, within moments, within two or three scrolls, I was able to see the video, the whole thing that happened, and ooh-wee. I tell you what, let's reach over to Demetrius and get his initial thoughts, and then we'll dive in a little bit deeper. But let me throw this comment on the screen from Didi Felder. Didi Felder says that my mom has alopecia. Alopecia. She says it's very draining and emotional. She says if you don't know what it feels like to have people say mean stuff, you probably don't get it. Yeah. And Renee Kennedy chimes in. She says, in the words of Ashlyn Cole, try Jesus, don't try me, because I'll throw hands. You throw hands, Ashlyn? I never knew about that part.
You could push me. You could push me further now than you could back in the day, but I'm saved, but I could also go sideways.
Okay.
So,
Well, that's good to know. So if I'm in a dark alley on 30,
Mama Bear, though, it's not over dumb stuff, right? I'm not drama like over dumb stuff. But if you threaten my family, or you come for my husband that's on his way, or you come for that kind of no.
I'm with you. So let me say this, and I'm about to throw it out to Demetrius to get his initial thoughts. And again, then we'll dive in deeper and go around the room and see what we end up. I'm telling you, I went to Twitter, started seeing all this kind of stuff. I showed it to my family and all this kind of stuff. And I was like, man, we was all like, whoa, really? And again, my initial thought was, man, maybe this was fake until I heard what he said afterwards. I knew at that point it wasn't fake. It could have been fake at first, but no, it definitely wasn't fake. And Didi Felder chimes in and say that Ash is from Fillmore. I just need to know, Ash, can I take you with me to 3rd and Newcomb? Can we be able to do what we need to do on 3rd and Newcomb if somebody come talking about our families?
It's a little different. It's a little different. Every city has a hood. The hood in San Francisco is not necessarily the hood in Oakland. But I'll tell you what, I'll be right behind you.
It's all good. I got you. I'm not mad at it. And let's see. I think I got you, Corey. Let's try again. Corey, say something.
Now, can you hear me now?
Yeah, we got you now. Okay. We got you. Welcome to tonight's show. We're glad to have you. I'm going to get your comment in just a second. So just keep on driving, doing your thing. Let me throw it out to Demetrius. Demetrius, listen, man, let me get your initial thoughts on what happened last night. And tell me what you're thinking, man.
My initial thoughts is first, yeah. I thought it was staged. I was like, wait, what just happened here? So of course, like everyone else, I went in and doing my research and digging all up through my fax lines and everything. And then when I got over to shout out to my people over in Tokyo. Thank you for giving us that unedited version to where you could hear everything that was actually said at the moment of pause to us over here in America. I was like, wait a minute, is this for real? Then you got to go into the stories and everything, and then I'm like, oh, and you just kind of knew. First of all, I need other people to understand, and you can unsee it in me now as I come to my close. First of all, I need people to understand. Understand this: it's a difference between a laugh and a smirkle and a smirk. Okay, Will Smith's laugh was kind of like, yeah, I hear you, boy, but you already know we ain't even on that like that. Like it wasn't like the yeah. It wasn't giving what everybody else around them was giving. Jada was giving. Will was giving. Okay, I see you. I see you. And two, we got to understand this. I'm gonna say this. If somebody sat there and said a joke, it was like, and Michi looking like he just stepped out of the cancer ward or something. Any joke along that line, I'm gonna give you because
You
my
don't
next
play
one
with
is I'm
that.
probably gonna snatch you from where you standing
Come on.
and beat you. Okay, please understand that health reads are off limits to me. Period. To anybody, whether even if I don't know the person, there's just things that are just off limits, completely off limits. Okay, everyone's saying Chris Rock didn't know that she had that. I knew that Jada had spoke out about her alopecia. Like, come on, it was all everybody knew, but Chris, you didn't know. You knew when she went to boycott the Oscars, you was all in on that. Like they have a history of going back and forth. First of all, let's keep that put that out there too. Will and Chris Rock and Jada ain't bro and sis. It ain't giving that. It ain't giving that. So you got to be careful of how you address things. And I understand he was trying to do his job. He's a comedian. I get that. But even still, at the end of the day, you got to be careful. You still got to be careful. I know people that crack jokes all the time, but if I don't like you and we're not in a good space, keep my
Mm-mm.
name out your mouth. Period.
Mm-mm.
I'm with
And
you.
if I can just add this one piece, this little tidbit based on what Michi just said. When you have somebody that is coming in to host a major event, the Grammys, the Emmys, the Oscars, whatever it might be, right? There's a whole team of people that do research on all the current events up until the last minute that they go live. So there is absolutely no way that Chris Rock did not know that she was going through that at that time. I absolutely 100% do not buy that, because you're always going to have people saying, oh, and this is going on current events, like we do here at Shop Talk. We say, here's the current events. What do we want to talk about? Now, they could have given him 30 topics and they said, we're going to focus on these 10. And when he saw something clicked in his mind, he was like, oh, this will catch a laugh. But if you noticed, the room didn't really kiki ha ha like maybe he thought that they would. There was a kind of a awkwardness that fell in the room. And you could see Will was awkward, but Jada's face, that's
Yeah.
what did it. That's what did it. I mean, I don't know what it is to be a man, but if I was a husband and my wife's face looked like that, I probably would knock the dog grease off you too.
Okay,
Yeah.
I hear
She
you.
looked like she wanted to run up there on him and pop him, but
Yeah, but it wasn't her place to do that. So let me throw this comment up here from James Romero, hanging out with us on YouTube, Poncho, as we know him. He says that I'm stuck in between liking what happened and regretting that it happened at this forum. He says, certainly our stock as a people might have taken a hit, but he says, but Hollywood needs to learn where the line is. Then we also have Ty McClain, who chimes in. She says, Will should have been that mad about the entanglement then. Okay, she's about to take us down another road. And Didi Felder also says, and please stop saying, why didn't he run up? y'all want to bring this entanglement in, don't y'all? All right, y'all. Listen, we've got Ja'Cory Proto finally in the building. All right, Ja'Cory, man, I know you're driving down the street, but you know what I'm saying? And hopefully you're not. Okay, never mind. I was about to go in a whole
Don't
different
do
But
that.
glad to have you on tonight's show, man. What is going on, bro?
Nothing much. I'm honestly sick of it. I'm sick of it. Everything you look at is Will, and I'm sick of it. You know what I like about it is you're able to see that even if you got money, you're human, and something could be going on in your head and don't nobody know. But I'm sick of it, because my thing is we're always so quick to go forth and captivate on the negative. But if it was something positive, you wouldn't know nothing about it.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. The whole situation was very, very interesting. We're going to dive a little bit into it. I want to put on here what my guy Charles Leonard said, and he says if Chris Rock didn't write the joke line, he just read what was on the teleprompter. You think? I disagree, Charlie. He went off of the teleprompter. That definitely was not written onto the teleprompter. He was going off the top of his head and made a real bad judgment call. All right, so now we've heard initially from all of our co-hosts, as well as many of you watching us tonight. Let me say this. At the end of the day, both of them apologized, and you're right, Didi Felder, both of them did apologize. However, let's back up a little bit. Let's analyze this just a taint. First of all, my opinion, I don't think I voiced mine. I'm not mad at Will, but I think at this level of stardom, this level of popularity, this level of TV, that it could have been handled differently. Should he have been mad? Absolutely. Should he have reacted? Of course. But there had to have been a better day or a better time, maybe during a commercial break, to where he could make whatever his gripe was, he could have made it known at that point. We as Black people have had so many things, so many stumbling blocks to prevent us to even getting to this point in the first place. Now we get to this point, and now this is how we act? No, ma'am. No, sir. What happened in terms of him being angry, Absolutely agree with it. I would have been upset too. And if my wife would have been like, having that type of emotion, yes. But there is a time and a season for everything under the sun. And so it might have been the right time, but it was the wrong season. So I think he should have thought that through a little bit, because for every action, there is a reaction. For everything that you do, there is either a great harvest or there are repercussions. Repercussions have started to swirl around to where the Oscars are thinking about revoking the Oscar that he won for Best Male Actor for the movie of King Richard, or I think that's what it's called. So now they're thinking about revoking that particular award from him. Now that might be a hard slap on the hand, but let's do the history, you guys. I don't know if you all know this. I didn't know this until today. And forgive me, I don't remember the young lady's name, but I was doing some research, and there was a Black lady many years ago, one of the first Black women to win an Oscar. Because of segregation and all the things that was going on during that time period, she was not even allowed in the building to accept her Oscar. They had to film her acceptance speech from the holding room where all the other Oscars were being held. So we've gone from this to now hosting it, and now this is how we act. We've had to leap over so many hurdles. And now this is how we act and react when things don't go according to how we plan. I think there's a better way. Let's get ready to unbox that and keep pushing. Ashlyn, I'm gonna throw it back to you, young lady. Tell me what you're thinking about. Some of the things I just mentioned.
I mean, absolutely. I couldn't agree more with you. Absolutely. You take 10 steps forward and 5 back, and 10 and 2 forward and 3 back. So absolutely, it is unfortunate, in that aspect, sure. And we're making light of it, keep my wife's name out of my, all that stuff, we're making light of it. But the repercussions are definitely something that are to be seen. And we live in a cancel culture society. So, today I was at, the chiropractor with my son, and Will Smith's song came on the radio, and all of a sudden people were like, oh no, we can't listen to Will Smith. And they said it in the office, and I'm just sitting there like, oh Lord, like we're so quick to write people off. And there was a comment here. It passed us by, but
who was it from?
So Andrea said, I think he was dealing with something else, and Chris Jada triggered him. It was the cherry on the cake. So absolutely. Can you imagine the stress, right, of a husband whose wife is going through a health crisis or a health issue? He's already feeling the pressure. There's questions that are being answered that he may not have, or being asked that he may not have the answers to. That's a lot of pressure for a man. That's a lot of pressure for a husband, to think that he's got the house in order and then things go left. So I definitely feel for him in that regard. And I feel for Jada, because you all know my history. I mean, going through chemo. Was it alopecia? No. Was it temporary? Yes. Am I comparing myself to her? Absolutely not. But I know what it's like to have a full, beautiful head of hair, and to have all the hair come out, and not even one little peach fuzz up there. So it's a lot of stress and a lot of pressure. I think in this regard, my vote is that they're going to resolve it, and there's not going to be awards taken away or anything like that. I don't know, that's just my feeling, but I'm sure everybody else has more to add to that.
Absolutely. And I appreciate your comments. That I really, really appreciate you being honest and transparent in that moment. Shout out to my cousin also in Fresno, Katrina Draper, who says, understood that there was more going on, still no excuse. Thank you to Lynette Calvin, as well as others, as well as Corinne Burnett, who told me that, who reminded me in 1939. Come on, y'all. How many years ago was that? 83. Hattie McDaniel was the first African-American to win and be nominated for an Academy Award. And again, she was not allowed in the building to be able to accept it. She was in the holding room where they held all of the other Oscars, and that's where she had to be able to give her acceptance speech, which, again, that's a whole nother story. Yolanda, we're talking about this whole thing, young lady. I mean, I'm not mad at Will, as I mentioned. I'm not mad at him. I just think that there was a better time and a better way to be able to handle this situation, because there are some things that you can't outlive. Let me say it again. There are some things that we do that we cannot outlive. And this may be one of those situations, you know what I'm saying? And I hear you, Corinne. She says, where was security? Somebody mentioned to me earlier today that if they was in a real missionary Baptist church, that those ushers would have never let him get that close to the stage. So yes, I agree. Where was the security? What happened with that whole thing? Yolanda, I mean, I want to get your ideas again, because you always come from a different place. So right place, right time, or could we have done it differently?
So 2 thoughts that I don't want to forget. Number one, I think it's so easy to say what you won't do when you're not there. And while I believe there's always a better place, there's always a better time, right? Always. That's just period. Any situation, good, bad, and or indifferent. But what I keep thinking about is during the red carpet moments, there was someone had said, I think it was Terrence J, like, oh, this is a 30-year, in the making, like Will Smith. I don't know if people know he's never gotten an Oscar, right? So this is a 30-year in the making, his first time. We hope he gets it. And all I kept thinking about is he's been married to Jada since 1997. And first of all, I am a Will and Jada fan, have been from day one. So he's been married to Jada since 1997, and they've been talking trash since 1997. Constantly comparing him to Tupac. He wasn't this, he wasn't that. He gets divorced from the first wife. People got stuff to say about that. Now, I just want us to paint a picture real fast, right? Let me paint a picture like real fast, right? If I was working. Imagine being in Hollywood and you're always the nice guy. We've never known Will. Will has a pretty clean track record. We've never known him to be in jail. I'm saying as an adult, maybe some stuff when he was a kid, but I'm saying as an adult. Nice guy. That's all we ever hear from the big names and the small. Nice guy, easy to work with. He put himself on the line about a year or so ago, and with Miss Janet Hubert, who played Vivian on Fresh Prince, and he apologized. Something that was 20 years in the making, and found out that he didn't know that she had things going on at home, and this is why she was this way. Okay, so he's been a pretty clean track record all this time. Imagine for almost 30 years, people are dogging, not just you, they're dogging your wife. They're dogging your kids. They say all kind of stuff about you. And I get it. Yes, when you are way up on the totem pole, when you're called to greatness, people say all kind of things about you. They did it to Jesus. Okay, that's Jesus. I'm not Jesus. Hallelujah. I'm trying to be like him. But imagine if people keep gnawing and gnawing and gnawing at it over. It's like a sore. You got cut. You got cut when you were a kid, and people just keep cutting it to the same place, not to a different place on the sore, the same place, over and over and over and over. Y'all, for real, 30 years of that. We're not saying a couple years. Then this whole quote unquote entanglement. You weren't at their house. You don't know what happened. You don't know if he slammed that kid on the floor or not. We don't know. And imagine thousands of people. You and your wife has said together, we're going to go to this place. We're going to look good. She looks crazy, amazing. And national television. Oh, I almost said okay, sorry. My Shaniqua almost came back. I had to pull it back. Okay. National television. This guy decides that he wants to alienate your wife. He could have chosen 8,000 jokes, but he chooses your wife. And Will is supposed to be like, no, we're just going to take it again.
Right. Your wife and her medical condition.
Yes.
Right.
First of all, I'm surprised he didn't knock the fool out the boy. That's number one. I think Will Smith is a G. I get it. Better place, better time, blah, 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 blah. But if this was two other, we love you, Ashley. If this was two white people, it would have been like, oh, ha, 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 ha.
Tell
It
the
would
truth.
not have been the
Tell
same.
truth. Tell the truth.
So why are we, and this is, not just say this other part, I don't think it's cool. You don't like it. You don't like what happened. That's fine. I don't think it's cool to see other black men trashing Will Smith. How do you trash and bash another black king? I don't understand. I saw people, believers, calling him out of his name, calling him a piece of trash. Let me tell you something. Let that be your wife, please. No.
I hear what you're saying, Yolanda, and for the most part, I agree with you. But again, let me throw what my cousin Katrina puts up here. Katrina says, sis, meaning you, obviously, your favorite word. Comedians do this all the time. She says, yes, a pressure cooker of emotions, but your self-control gotta be better.
Understand? Yes,
I
ma'am.
hear you. And let me throw on here what a different listener, Romney Jerron Sears says. He says it definitely was disheartening, overshadowing the fact that this was first Oscars produced by an African American. I didn't know that. Questlove's Oscar for his documentary, and the Williams family being able to enjoy their moment for King Richard. Again, I haven't seen the movie yet, but I definitely want to get a chance to do it. Candace further chimes in and she said, as I said, that was the straw that broke the camel's back. Will, in defense of what Yolanda has been saying, Will has held back a lot. Leah Marie chimes in from Frizz, yes? Frizz, yes? Okay, she says, absolutely, perfect timing and a huge stage, that's the game. She says, black people have always been the butt end of the joke at the Oscars. She says, this, however, was the time to show up seasoned. I hear you. And the twins, happy belated birthday, Jermaine and Tremaine. They just chimed in and mentioned that Will Packer produced the show. I did not know that, so that's some good information.
And can I throw in one more thought?
Absolutely, you can.
This is not my original thought. This is not my thought, okay? I believe her name is Selena. I hope I'm saying that right. The R&B artist, is that right, Jacory? That's her name? Selena said something I thought was really, really good. I'm paraphrasing. She said, it is possible that Will was still in character, and it happens all the time, where people have been playing a character of someone for all the things you have to do to prepare to become that in that space and become that person. And so if you think about some of the character things that we've seen, if you've seen King Richard, I'm not saying that makes it okay, but I'm saying in that moment when you heard his speech and saying the things that he realized, I thought too, what if Will Smith has some regrets of not standing up for his family before? Of for years allowing people.
Now you did on the biggest stage ever?
Well, I don't know it in that moment. I'm just saying the way we think psychologically. I don't know if in that moment it's like, this is my moment. More if it's like the pressure cooker. And I'm just saying, imagine you packing it down for 30 years. So they saying this about Jada. Ooh, okay. They said this about my little girl. They said this about my son over and over and over and over again. And then this guy says up, and it's just like, boom. That's what I think happened.
I'm with you. Again, I'm not mad at you.
I'm not saying I'm wrong or right. I'm just saying.
I agree with most of what you're saying, but I still believe that there was a better way to handle it. Let me throw it out to Jacory, who I know is hanging out in the car. Jacory, man, what are you thinking about this whole situation where we are right now?
You know what? I totally agree. But at the end of the day, I think we have thrown standard out of the window. Because honestly, I look at this. This has been happening in my in the Christian faith. Period. It's just different because now we're dealing on a different platform. We do this in everyday church. Period. And one mistake will have you forget that I wrote the reason why I sing or whatever song blessed you until you found out that I messed up. So I'm just like, at the end of the day, I feel as though it's happened on this platform for a reason, so that you can figure out what standards and principles you need to live by.
Yeah.
Because my thing is, at the end of the day, we living in a day and time to where we're honoring and awarding the wrong thing.
That's so good.
If we really had standard, half of the awards would be going to the people that was really doing the work and standing for something. We in a day and time to where it's just like, long as you sing real pretty, you know, you may not be putting in all the work or even living an example that anybody can follow. It's just like, you know, I just feel as though it's such, everything is all over the place. In music, TV, church, everything. So I feel as though it's happening. So where you at, Oprah? Can we have a conversation? Pull all of them on pull them all on the show, and let's really talk about it.
Oh, you know, we ain't trying to hear too much from Oprah these days either. You know.
No, don't do that.
I love Oprah. No. But we ain't gonna get into that. I have to.
Who would they use to bring and pull them to the table? But her.
I would probably pull like Tyler Perry, somebody who's definitely.
He ain't big enough yet. I need Oprah.
He's big enough.
Both of them.
Yes, he is. See, here's the thing. Here's the thing with Oprah. Right now, the people don't want to hear Oprah after she pulled that whole pulling those boys from the Michael Jackson case and doing that whole thing. After it's just a whole. So trust me, right now, we ain't trying to hear. A lot of people ain't trying to hear from Oprah. Not in our culture, anyway.
Well, then let me ask you this. Then let me ask you this, Demetrius. You actually are you were the next person I wanted to hear from. So here we are. This happened last night. Will. He did win the award for Best Actor. He gave an apology, heartfelt apology. I don't remember him saying he was sorry to Chris at that point, but he did, apologize to his family, to the Actors Guild for the things that happened, and went on to do what he did. Now, Chris Rock, I gotta give kudos to Chris for a couple of reasons. Chris could have easily gone and filed a police report, had Will, arrested. Well within his right to do so. He chose not to. That was big. And lastly, like I said at the beginning of the show, he didn't break character. He still had his hands behind his back. He didn't physically respond. Now I'm from East Oakland, man. I'm from East Oakland. We do things a little bit different. Had somebody came and open hand slapped me on a stage with millions of people watching, it would have been a tussle. I'm telling you, Will wouldn't have been able to walk back off that stage. I would have tripped him. And then by the time I would have tripped him, I'm being as honest as I can be, because Will just turned around and walked away. You know how we do. As soon as he was turning around and walked away, I'd have tripped him. He'd have fell. And I would have drop kicked him. And it would have been a mess on there. We both would be in jail. Our tuxedos would have been bloody. It would have been a mess. So I have to give kudos to Chris Rock for handling it as a true professional. So again, a lot of things could have happened that didn't happen. Demetrius, man, it's on you. Tell me what you're thinking about what happened last night.
I think at the end of the day, we all have opinions standing on the outside looking in. But we don't know any type of how Will felt actually in that moment, considering it's a joke regarding a health read to his wife, considering we've been down this road before with Chris Rock and his responses in regards to my wife. So it's a buildup of different things, and then not whatever else is going on in life, like Yolanda laid it out perfectly. It's sometimes people get to a buildup. I will say this, and I think one point that I've agreed with pretty much with everybody is the fact of, at this time, and even with D Toll making a mention of, how, the first black person nominated for an Oscar to win an Oscar had to, sit in the holding room where the Oscars was being held. And now we're at this point. And last night was a very good night for Black culture, especially with Questlove winning the award for the Summer of Soul documentary, something that was put into a basement for over 20 years, over almost 40 years, never looked at, never produced. They produced it and they win an Oscar for it. Keep in mind, the Summer of Soul was documented in Harlem, right there. If you've ever been to New York, the big Harlem Park right up there on Frederick Douglass and 135th, that whole area there. Um, you know, they had a big concert there. Literally, this was the time when Gladys Knight and them came out and sung for about $50, you know, just to be there. Like, this was one of the biggest black social events for the Harlem Black Alliance. And he won an award for this. So, you know, when we have moments like this, and then, you know, Will Smith winning, you know, his first Academy Award. You know, he was nominated for Ali. He was nominated for Pursuit of Happiness, didn't win. You know, he's been nominated for so many different things. So this was actually a big night for him as well. And I think, you know, I agree with everyone. I think that that moment of what happened and how he responded to that kind of took away from us, you know, celebrating, you know, black culture, you know, and, you know, us coming up to a place. You know, we got Lena Bird Miles. You know, how many of y'all still talk about Lena? How many of y'all have shared the post? How many of y'all don't congratulate Lena? But I'm sure we've all talked about, you know what I'm saying? And that's what, shout out to Lena Bird Miles. For me, one of the first Bay Area people I've seen on this Oscar stage. You know, I don't know if there's been any others before her, but, you know, shout out to her. You know, there were so many big moments last night that kind of got pushed back
Yeah.
because of because of this, of how it responded. But at the same time, you know, this is a black man with some animosity built up, you know, you know, and
I
he
hear you.
just had, you know, he expressed it. I can't really say, I can't say what I would have done in that moment. You know what I'm saying? We can't really say what we have done. We can always sit back and analyze and dig up our facts and kind of try to put the puzzle together. But in actuality, until you're actually in that moment, because I've done some things, I've attacked some people. I've even had a fight in a church parking lot before. I'm gonna keep it 100. And I attacked the person. Am I excited about that? No, I'm not. I look over it now like, God, man, I did that. Me and the person now, we're really good. We really cool. We laugh, we top it up. Sometimes we laugh about that whole fight. You know what I'm saying? But in that moment, though, when that happened, was I right for that? You know what I'm saying? You know, how did that make me grow as a person? And I feel sometimes we got to make a mistake to kind of come up another notch and where we're battling from. Sometimes you know, he might now can sit back and say, you know what, and see things differently and move differently. And now knows how to deal. Maybe he will start getting some therapy he's probably long overdue for. We as black men, we're scared to go to therapy. We think it's like going to buy, your wife sending you out to buy tampons or something. We like, I ain't trying to do all that, So, but it's again, we can't never really say until we're really in that moment. And we have to understand that as celebrities, there's so much that comes with that. It is so much that comes with that. It is so much that comes with that. Ja'Cory made a very good point. If Ja'Cory right now, My Destiny, if we let a scandal come about Ja'Cory, y'all gonna forget about My Destiny even existed, and y'all gonna push that scandal around. It's gonna get on. What's Will McRae's thing?
Obnoxious TV.
Obnoxious TV. It's gonna be all like church folks. We will sit there and we will share the tea and talk and judge somebody, but on something like this, we want to sit there and try to really play psychologists. When it comes to Will Smith or somebody like that, we want to sit there and play psychologist. But when it comes to gospel artists, whatever we don't heard, that's what it is, and we ain't doing. Ban them, cancel them. We ain't playing them. We're not listening to them. Don't invite them to your church. Nothing. So I
Look,
feel again,
ain't spent that much time and energy in the word, but are gonna
none
spend all that time and energy with the gossip.
to make sure
Not
that your tea get out.
more gossip than gospel. Come on.
Now that's good. More gossip than gospel. That's good. Come on, Ash.
on.
You making up t-shirts tonight.
But one thing that it really helped me with is at the end of the day, all the money in the world can't stop you from having a breaking point or having issues. Because I really, I used to think, I used to love like Whitney Houston and Patti LaBelle, thinking that they weren't human. It never triggered. They just like me. They got to go to the bathroom. They got to deal with the same issues. They got to go get a checkup, and where they are with their rate of pay, they got to deal with their challenges and differences. So for me, it was just like, oh wow, I'm glad that the world can see that just because you got all this money and all eyes is on you. Guess what? Somebody can say something to you and you're triggered.
I'm with it, man. I hear you. I don't think that any of us are, not able to be triggered. I'm laughing at Leah Marie, who says that she's never been slapped with no response. I get it. So, but as I get ready to throw it out to Ashlyn, this whole thing has really blown up. I mean, probably out of proportion. Again, for it to still be trending 24 hours later, I've never seen that happen. But the bottom line of it all is a mistake was made. Now, again, I mentioned the initial apology that he made on stage, but Will has also released a formal apology, as well as Chris Rock has also issued a formal apology. That's big of both of them to be able to recognize, hey, this was could have been a mistake or was a mistake, could have been handled differently, and both of them are willing to, at least to the world, own up to their part of what happened last night. Again, Dee Felder mentioned a little earlier in chat that she believed that this is a microwavable situation to where it shouldn't last long. They should both be able to live it down. I'm not sure, but we'll find out as the time goes by. But Ashlyn, I want to throw it out to you because you had some great comments that you wanted to share. So the virtual floor is now yours.
Okay. I don't know that it was that serious in my comment, but thank you for gassing me up. Okay, praise God. With the price of gas right now, I'll take a full tank. Thank you. No, what was interesting, the piece that we didn't see was the interaction between Will and Jada after the comment is made. They flash briefly on them. They pan right to them. Will laughed uncomfortably. Jada was very not happy with the comment. Then the camera went away and back onto Chris. What happened in that moment? Because with the history of them, first of all, anything could have been said. She could have said, if you don't go up there and defend my honor, you ain't getting none tonight or tomorrow night or next week or next month. It might be next year. It might be the next decade. You might be waiting a long time, Sir Will. What you gonna do now? You kept so quiet when it was about an intent. I mean, you just don't know. And here's the thing, like, I can't even get into the psychology of men and women, right? But there's a power play in there somewhere, and I kind of felt that, you know what I mean? Like there was a little bit of a something. I'm like, what happened in that little 3 seconds or 4 seconds? It could have been one word. It could have been 2 words. It could have been a look. Like, oh, you just gonna sit there? You sorry? Bleepity bleep bleep bleep. You just don't know. You really just don't know what happens in those moments. And they've been together so long. Different looks mean different things. We might have seen that look and we see it as something else. Oh, she's just bothered. But we don't know what that look really means to Will because they're in a marriage. And honestly, it's none of our business what's going on in their marriage. But I'm curious, if I was a little birdie, I just would want to know what happened in that moment, because he went from an uncomfortable laugh, like that wasn't cool, but I'm gonna handle you later kind of a laugh, to walking up on stage and slapping the frog hair off of him. Yes.
I agree with Ashlyn. So can I jump in right? I agree with Ashlyn. So I'm not married yet. And man, y'all keep praying hallelujah. Here's the thing. If I can imagine, in that moment, even when she rolled her eyes, you didn't know they were playing or not. I mean, they're actors. But I think there was just the thing that women do, like, oh, so you're not gonna say nothing? I know y'all ain't never seen me act like you just gonna let him say that. Did I become a little ratchet at that moment? I'm just saying, we don't know. I agree with Ashlyn. We don't know. We don't know those spaces and what happened in that space. And maybe she became a little emotional. But I will say this other part. I think all parties need to Thank you, Holy Ghost. I think all parties need to accept responsibility. Will, Chris, and the Oscars. Why didn't the Oscars go to a commercial break? They had enough sense to mute. Why didn't they go to a commercial break?
You telling the truth now. Come on.
They
had control over that.
Throw nobody off. That's, I think, what made people think it was staged, because he slaps him.
He had a nice walk. That was a long walk.
That was a long walk. Somebody said he was
quick to go. They quick to go to commercial when Kirk Franklin is talking about Black Lives Matter, or somebody's talking about that. They are quick.
And you know, it's a little. So I was talking to some friends who do production last night, and they were like, "Well, you know, there's a little delay now. Like, we're seeing it at 7:05, but it's really 7:08. So there's a little bit of pause. You're telling me
it's a 2-minute delay between production and broadcast and live broadcast.
This was not Here We Are Live Baptist on their stream that's not a real church. Okay, somebody can be hurt. This is not Here We Are Baptist on their streaming, right? This was live, major $1 million television.
Right.
Why didn't they go to a commercial? They had enough sense to mute it, and then Will cusses him out. I mean, he didn't cuss him out, but he cussed at him, right? Using, you know, like major bombs. They didn't go to a commercial then. And then it just keeps going. No commercial.
No, and that's Katrina just said it. No commercial break, because it's good television. See, and this is the thing, because at the end of the day, right, it's about ratings.
Yes.
And the Oscars, the Grammys, the all of them, they have to be to the same standard for ratings, just like the sitcoms, just like the other shows. They have ratings as well. And, you know, and so that definitely, it made for good television.
Absolutely.
It did. And it's funny because they talked about the ratings too, that they were saying that the ratings after that situation happened, and everybody started talking about it, that over 1.something million more people tuned in to the Oscars. So that was over a million something people not even watching. Yeah, Jacory was at Angie Stone, and he's still going, wait, what happened?
With their phones out.
Yeah. And Jacory was texting us, wait, what happened? What's going on? Like, and he had a whole concert doing something else. So you see what happens? That's it created a hype, and it got them more money because more people tuned in. And
it pushed, and now it's pushing Black people back down the gutter, basically.
That entire part.
Y'all think we lost the whole
Yeah.
Well, my thing is now they're saying, oh, the Oscars is kind of like, I mean, even when you watch the news, what are they going to do? Are they going to take this award? If they do take the award, I mean, I guess we just got to see how it unfolds.
Right. Well, especially Will Smith, because as you all said, right, Will Smith has been in the game a long time, and he knows how to play the game, right? He's the good guy. He's the one that's not a threat. He's not the angry Black man, right? Yep. But now, see, Will's just like, you know what I'm saying? That's how the conversation can go. See, we wait long enough, and
that's the part I don't understand.
It's terrible.
Where's the grace? And especially for the believers. Right. So yes, if I saw your comment, I don't know if I want to be a friend no more. Because I saw people, I said, oh, we just, I mean, believers, like straight up people with names like, oh, you know, he's trash. He should have known better. But where's the grace? Where's the thing to say, man, what was this man going through that after 30 years he lost his top publicly on national television?
We don't extend grace until we need it.
You need an offering for that.
Jesus Christ.
That's a good comment, Joey. And to add on to what you're saying, Yolanda, I agree. Grace should be extended. It in my opinion, there couldn't have been a more worse time for him to lose it.
Yeah.
Because here we are talking about, yes, he's been in the game all this time. He's been nominated all these different times, and he never won until last night. And so now because of actions. Again, remember there's either a great recompense, or that you can make something majorly happen from your actions, or you can suffer serious consequences. He may have set himself up for a serious consequence. He'll still get grace. He'll still be forgiven, but there's still a consequence to the actions that you may happen. So do I forgive him? Absolutely. Do I want to see him in his next movie? Of course I do. But am I going to be mad if the Academy Awards decide to take his award? Not my business. That's about, you know what I'm saying? That's really not my business. And that's a decision that none of us are privy to. So I mean, these are some of the things that I'm wondering. This is me, and I don't partake of liquor or anything like that. I don't know how you act or react, but I'm wondering if he may have been a little bit of tipsy.
That would be a time for a good drink. Lord forgive me, but
I'm wondering if that may have yielded to, aside from whatever Jada told him in his ear, but I'm wondering yielded to the reaction that he had.
They say everybody is partying at that thing, that they get there early, the champagne is flowing, the drinks are flowing. You know, all of that. That it's to the Oscars?
Yeah.
No, not yet. But speak life into. Oh, thank you. Oh, hallelujah.
Yes, listen,
thank you,
Lena
Lord
Bird was
Jesus.
on last night. Some of the California children was on last night. Hey,
come on. But no, yeah, it's. I've heard that all of those. It's a party. You got the pre-party. You got the red carpet, you got the VIP rooms, you got the parties happening all throughout the day. Then you have the after parties. Absolutely. Maybe that was a thing, but I think there's several factors. We're talking about a 30+ year history, almost 30-year history. That's bad. The role. Now the comment about him playing this role, now just having come off a role myself, I absolutely, there have been things that have come out subtle because I only did it for, a couple of weeks, where he probably worked on this for the last few years. It seeps into your pores because you have to be so convincing. And so that, I thought that was a very, very interesting observation, that maybe some of this character had rubbed off on him in that moment. The bottom line is, if we had been at the CMAs, which is the Country Music Awards, and Garth Brooks had gone up there and socked somebody in his eye because he was talking about his wife, none of us would be having this conversation. They'd have cheers the beer in the parking lot and kept it moving, because it's like, it's not newsworthy. You know what I'm saying? But why is it? Why? This is like, it's such a personal thing, and it's so sad that it had to play out on television. At the end of the day, I still would want my husband to tell you to keep my wife's name out your bleepity mouth. It's okay, Save. You can get those words out in that moment, and I would forgive you, love. Thank you. Stand up for your wife.
I can't. Listen, I am looking up at the clock, you guys. I can't believe it. This time has gone by so quickly. Shout out to Pradina Good, who's hanging out with us. Good to see you, Pradina, hanging out with us. Lot of people are chiming in. Now, listen, even though the show is going to end, the conversation doesn't. We can continue this conversation right here on social media, right here on Facebook and YouTube, and be able to make some things happen. But I want to mention one thing. Charlie Boy, you must have really got to say. Charlie puts up on here, this is a good comment. He says, I believe Denzel Washington's wife, Morgan Freeman, would not have allowed her husband to go up there. He says, your wife is also a protector of the family as well. Charlie, I like the way you're thinking, man. That is a good comment right there. I did not want to end tonight's show without making that happen. And shout out to my cousin again, Katrina. I haven't seen her in a while. Katrina, she says that this was a great conversation and debate. And did y'all know that we can have conversation and sin not? We can disagree and sin not.
Come on. Hallelujah.
We can disagree.
I tell you what.
Disagreeable. How about that?
I tell you what, this is going to make for a good Red Table Talk episode right here. I honestly believe that this might be a 2 or 3 part series. This is the entanglement after the entanglement. Yes. But it definitely has the power to be a good Red Table Talk. And guess what? Those ratings are going to be through the roof, because we are all going to tune in, because we want to know what happened when the camera went over here? That's what we want to know.
And
that's
shout
really
out
good.
to Will. I mean, not to Will. I'm sorry. Shout out to Tyler Perry and Denzel Washington. I just saw a meme that says, "If accountability was a person," you gotta give a shout out to them for consoling, for accountability at that moment, and pull him aside and say, "Hey, now you gotta get yourself together." You know, so we get it, but I just think that was really dope with him.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll still be watching Bel Air.
I haven't seen it yet. I'm going to dive into it tomorrow. Is my hope.
Oh, it's so good, Dito. Oh,
Yeah,
it's
my
so
kids say
good.
the
You
same thing.
must.
Dito, you haven't tapped into Bel Air?
I have not had a chance
Let
to
me
watch.
just tell you. Let me say one word. Carlton. I'm
That's
just gonna
very
say
good.
Carlton. Let me tell you. You didn't even know. You didn't even know the backstory on Carlton. Watch the backstory on Carlton, honey. That is that show is good.
Good stuff. Well, listen, I'm going to get ready to get us out of here, but let me just say on behalf of all of our great co-hosts who are hanging out with us, of course, the incredible Ashlyn Cole, Yolanda Wild, Praise Laurent, Demetrius Hunter, and Ja'Cory Prothro. My name is Demetrius Tollfree. Before I let us go, let me just say this. We've been talking about problems and all these different type of things that we're talking about tonight. Let me just say this, though. Sometimes fixing the problem can be painful. But without pain, there is no gain. Lord,
hey,
I'm gonna say that one more time because I felt something.
Come on,
Shondo.
Hey, Shondo.
Sometimes fixing the problem can be painful, but where there is no pain, well, there is no gain. I absolutely am glad that all of you hung out with us tonight. Leave out of here with some great music from Lawrence Matthews. He has a word that simply says, regardless of whatever happens, good, bad, or indifferent, you can make it. To the next time, y'all know how I do.
holla.
You've been going through a storm, and you feel